Hello, and welcome back to ZK1 Play. So glad that you guys could join me today. Today, we're going to be team building for facing the Greninja Terra Raid. And I think you're going to enjoy my picks. They're pretty spicy, and it's going to be really fun to all hunt for a Greninja this weekend in the 7-star Mightiest Raid. Let's get into it. But first, let me show you what I imagined that the Greninja is going to look like next weekend for the raid. Now, we're not confirmed that this is exactly what his set is going to be or anything like that, but basically I loaded him down with his dual stab, which I know it's not listed there, but it's Dark Pulse and Hydro Pump. That's the hardest he could possibly hit because he's a special attacker in general. And then I also gave him Extra Sensory and Gunk Shot, which are excellent coverage moves, especially combined with Water and Dark. And yes, he has other moves. No, I don't think we'll see them. These are my guesses for what he's going to be packing besides his status moves. And so in terms of how he's going to boost up and how he's going to become broken, I believe that Greninja gets access to bulk up, although I'm not positive about that. But I know that Battle Bond increases his attack, special attack, and speed every time he gets a knockout. And so that's something we're going to have to be really careful for. So whenever I'm talking about Pokemon in this video about how much damage they take from Greninja or how much they give, it is based on a level 100 Greninja that is poison type. And as you can see here, has 200 EVs in attack and special attack, maximum IVs, and is running these moves that you see here plus Hydro Pump. All right, let's get into the 6 Pokemon I don't think you should use. First up, we have Golden Go. Golden Go is a really good setup Pokemon with Nasty Plot and Metal Sound, able to do a ton of damage to a bunch of different Pokemon. But in this particular raid, Golden Go has taken at least 65% if he's not special defense invested from the Greninja's Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse has no chance to miss. It's pretty consistent, and if he gets a knockout, that damage into Golden Go is only going to go up from 65%. So I don't think it's worth bringing. No matter what kind of setup you bring to the table, I still think it's going to be difficult to survive very much. A very similar situation is Espathra, and Espathra is a Pokemon that was pretty good against the Cinderace raid that we had recently. But in this particular circumstance, I don't think she's going to make the cut because she's taking 70% from one single Dark Pulse. That's before a whole lot of boosts, and that's even defensive invested somewhat. And so, yeah, I think leave Espathra at home for the Greninja raid, despite her being a super effective Psychic type. Next up, we have Fluttermane. Fluttermane just gets O-code by Gunk Shot, depending on the spread that you're running. Now, obviously, Fluttermane can survive it because it's not a super effective hit, but you're not going to want to go into that too confidently, unless, of course, you're running like super defensive Fluttermane with some support, but even then, I don't think it's worth it. Then we have Sylveon. Sylveon has a chance to get O-code without defensive investment. If you go full HP and full defense, then Sylveon has a chance to live, but even then, it's not worth it because you're not going to be able to stay alive long enough to do any damage after setting up. Slowbro, probably the top Pokemon in the raid against Cinderace. It has fallen flat here, and that's because Slowbro has higher defense than it has special defense. And so one Dark Pulse is going to be doing 50 to 79, and while Slowbro does get access to Amnesia, I don't think he's going to be stable enough in this particular raid to survive. Now, with support, Slowbro can still be just as powerful of a sweeper, except for you'll be trading out your Iron Defense for Amnesia. So you'll run Amnesia and, let's see, Nasty Plot, Stored Power, maybe Slack Off this time for some healing, something like that. So Slowbro's usable, but not near as usable as it was in the past, and I've got better Pokemon to show you right now. All right, so generally this list is going to be from worst to best, and so keep that in mind as we go along, although they're not all ranked exactly correctly. However, number 1 is definitely at the end, and it's the one I think you should use most consistently. So here we are. Number 12 on my list is Goodra. Goodra has very naturally high special defense, which is going to help out a lot against those dark type hits and the hydro hits from Hydro Pump. And his Dragon type is going to allow him to resist Hydro Pump. Gunk Shot is also not. It is like normal effectivity, but with the Acid Armor, it's not going to be doing very much damage to you at all. I also really like the fact that Goodra gets a little bit of ground coverage, so you're able to hit it super effectively. And with a few Acid Sprays up, you're going to be greatly damaging this thing. And so Goodra, a good mid-range kind of tank support, but he's not definitely near the top of the list. Next we have Screamtail. Screamtail setting up Stored Power is not very scary because Screamtail has low special attack stat, but with Screamtail's ability to hit Psychic type into that poison type doing super effective damage, it is going to get stab boosted on top of the stored power that it normally gets, and so it is worth a look. And Screamtail is also very bulky, so even with it being weak to poison type moves, Screamtail is going to be able to take a couple of gunk shots before it goes down. And so, bring Screamtail. You need to invest defensively so that it doesn't go down to 1. Then you would Noble Roar and Calm Mind probably 3 or 4 times, and then start firing off stored power. And if you have no support, then I would Calm Mind 4 times, Fake Tears twice, and then stored power until the end. But yes, very, very similar running like you would do with Slowbro, except for you don't have the extra setup in Iron Defense. All right, next up we have Toxapex. This is an unbreakable wall for Greninja. You're not going to die, period, for the most part, unless they crit you. And so this is just an opportunity for you to be supportive. Mudshot is going to lower their speed. Chilling Water is going to lower their attack. Acid Spray is going to lower their special defense. And Recover is going to just make sure that you do not die. And on top of all of that, Chilling Water, Mudshot, and Acid Spray, all of those effects go through the shield, which is really, really a cool mechanic. Now, Wo-Chien is next. And Wo-Chien is what I nicknamed Amazing Support. With Reflect, you're able to survive the gunk shots. And that's really all you have to worry about. And then you have Mud Slap to kind of lower his accuracy, and Snarl to lower his special attack. Very good support for your teammates, and Reflect is going to protect everyone from the gunk shot. The one thing to be aware of with Wo-Chien and Ting Lu is that these two are lowering your partner Pokemon's attack and special attack respectively as well. And so you want to make sure that you're not bringing Ting Lu on a team full of special attackers. Otherwise, your damage output is going to be greatly minimized. With Ting Lu, we also have access to Sunny Day and the Earthquake, which is stab, and it's also his higher special attack. And so Ting Lu is going to hit this thing pretty hard. And so again, what I would do is Mud Slap it so that its Hydro Pumps begin missing more often, and then throw up a Sunny Day if you're taking too much damage, and then just Earthquake till the cows come home. And you're going to be able to get a ton of damage with Ting Lu in that way. And the final one on this first half of the list is Umbreon. Umbreon is a Calm Mind Sword Power user. Pretty easily said. He also has access to Fake Tears and Snarl, which is going to protect him further. So I decided to invest in defense so that you're taking less from the gunk shots. And let me tell you, Umbreon, because he is not super effectively hit in any way from Greninja, he is going to be a freaking tank. And so he might be the best stored power user so far on the list. And so definitely give Umbreon a shot if you're going to try doing the Calm Mind stored power thing. So, and it will be hitting extremely hard, especially if you were to do like a Terra Psychic Umbreon. So, moving now to the top 6 Pokemon that I think you should consider using for these raids. Number 6 is Slowking. Slowking is a lot like Slowbro would have been, except for he's more specially defensive, allowing him to survive a Dark Pulse more consistently right off the bat. So you would run Amnesia, Nasty Plot, Sword Power, and Psychic Terrain. And Amnesia would be your first move. Immediately start using Amnesia to up your special defense, and you're going to be able to survive Dark Pulses like nobody's business after that. Then Nasty Plot up and begin firing off Sword Powers, and you'll be hitting with tons of damage. If you get time, throw down a Psychic Terrain and up that damage even more. The thing is with Slowking, he needs some support because those gunk shots on the defensive side when it's uninvested are still going to be hitting pretty hard, and you're not boosting your defenses. The other option would be to, instead of run Psychic Terrain, run some Iron Defense as well. So do like 2 Amnesias, 2 Iron Defenses, and then start Nasty Plotting up. But even that's a lot of work. So just figure out what you want to do with him. I think he is still a very good option. Just I would use the Slowking variant instead of the Slowbro. Next up, we have Iron Hands. Iron Hands, as you can see up there, as his nickname says, he is best used with Screech. And here's why. Iron Hands is still a very good raid Pokemon right now against Greninja. But he doesn't have any super effective stab moves. And so Drain Punch, Thunder Punch, those kind of things are not going to hit him super hard. But with a Belly Drum and an Earthquake, he's still doing mega damage. And so here's what we want to do. Belly Drum turn 1, get your Citrus Berry, survive a hit. And then you want your partners to be Screeching. If you get Belly Drum off and your partner Pokemon Screech his defense down to -6, you most likely will one-shot this Pokemon, especially if you have a Helping Hand boost or a critical hit or anything like that. And so because of his ability to one-shot Greninja, and he doesn't get one-shot in return, I think Iron Hands is a great Pokemon to take a look at using. So Iron Hands plus some Screech support would be really, really good. Next up we have Miraidon. Miraidon is just incredible support. Very bulky on the special side. You don't have to worry about it going down to any of Greninja's moves. And it has access to defensive moves. So we run Reflect to protect our team. You could run a Light Clay if you want to make it last longer. You run Eerie Impulse to protect your team from special attacks. You run Metal Sound to lower his special defense. And then Parabolic Charge to restore your health. So in a lot of game cases, you're just going to hit Reflect and then Metal Sound him and then start running your Parabolic Charges off. Eventually terastallizing and using Parabolic Charge even more effectively. But Miraidon, like I said, is just an amazing support. Doesn't do much on its own, but with some partner Pokemon does really good. Next up, we have Koraidon. Koraidon is a decent setup Pokemon, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. It's more to also protect your team. So we run Sunny Day to protect anybody from the water type attacks, and we run Breaking Swipe in order to lower their attack as you go. And yes, I'm aware that Koraidon sets up Sunny Day on his own, but Sunny Day allows you another way to do that consistently if you're not fainting and coming back. And so, yes, Koraidon, another very good bulky support mon. Still not able to take it down solo or anything. All right, here we're getting to a couple that are very special to mention. First up, we have Toxicroak. And Toxicroak is the #1 supporting Pokemon, I believe, for this raid. You can call me crazy or whatever, but none of Greninja's moves are able to hit it super effectively or even normally effectively. Toxicroak tanks up dark type hits and poison type hits, and Toxicroak happens to be immune to water type attacks. Why? Because of his dry skin ability. So what you're going to do with Toxicroak is you have the ability to Mud Slap and Acid Spray, lowering his special defense and his accuracy, making it more consistent for all of your teammates to get good damage and to avoid attacks. Then you'll start bulking up and using Earthquake, and if you can terastallize in the ground, that's even better. Then you can really start doing some high levels of damage to Greninja, even on your own. So a ground Terra type Toxicroak would be an incredible Pokemon to use against Greninja. The only catch here is Greninja does get access to Extrasensory. So if Greninja is running Extrasensory, change everything I just said, because it just completely destroys your game plan. But I'm not really expecting it to have that coverage move. I guess we're going to see on Friday. And the final Pokemon, the one that I have #1, this is the one that I think you should be training this week so that you can be ready for the raid. That is Klefki. Klefki is immune to the Gunk Shot, which means that you don't even have to worry about any kind of defensive investment. All you have to worry about is your special defense. And on the special side, you have Light Screen and you have Calm Mind, both of things decreasing damage being done to you. You also have Sunny Day to protect against those high-level Hydro Pumps. And finally, you knew it was coming, Stored Power. Calm Mind 4 times and Stored Power with Klefki. Even though Klefki struggles in the special attack department, you're going to be doing high levels of damage to Greninja. And you're not going to be one-shotting him like Slowbro was, but you're going to be doing consistent enough damage to easily take down Greninja. Granted, you have a little bit of help along the way from your partner Pokemon. So best of luck to you, but let's all let our keys jangle this weekend, and let's take down Greninja all together. I hope this list was helpful, and you'll train up or edit a couple of your Pokemon to be ready to take down Greninja. And Thursday night, we'll all get started doing this together. I'm so excited. Good luck to you as you train up your teams, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, and peace out.